Aquatic ecosystems are classified based on the salinity of the water. Salinity is a measure of the amount of dissolved salts the waters contain. There are several factors that affect the global distribution of aquatic resources. Salinity is one factor. Some fish are only found in water with high salt content. They are adapted for life in this salt concentration and will not survive in water with the lower salt concentration. Water depth also affects resource distribution. Deeper lakes tend to have lower net primary productivity than shallow lakes. Therefore, the biodiversity in the deeper lake may be less than in the shallow lake. Turbidity, a measure of the clarity or clearness of the water, affects organisms that are directly dependent on light, like aquatic plants, because it limits their ability to carry out photosynthesis. The nutrients available in an aquatic ecosystem also affect resource distribution. In agricultural areas, fertilizer runoff into nearby rivers and streams may cause eutrophication to occur. This ultimately reduces oxygen availability and may cause aquatic organisms in that water body to die. Another factor affecting resource distribution is water temperature. Some organisms are adapted for life in colder water and others in warmer water. Two kinds of aquatic ecosystems based on salinity are freshwater and marine or saltwater ecosystems. Freshwater contains less than 1% dissolved salt. Examples of freshwater ecosystems are lakes, ponds, rivers, streams, wetlands, icebergs, glaciers, and groundwater. Freshwater is a vital source of drinking water. Lakes and ponds may form naturally when water fills a depression in the ground. They may also form when animals such as beavers build dams in rivers or streams, essentially stopping water flow and allowing it to accumulate behind the dam. Humans may do the same thing when rivers are dammed for flood control or for electricity production. Since lakes and ponds are basically standing water, not flowing water, zones are defined by their depth and distance from shore. These zones are the littoral zone, the limnetic zone, the profundal zone, and the benthic zone. Each zone has unique characteristics. This diagram shows the littoral, limnetic, and profundal zones. The littoral zone in a lake or pond is the sloped area close to land. It is characterized by high biodiversity and abundance of organisms. Examples of organisms found in this layer are cattails, reeds, and pond lilies, turtles, frogs, and crayfish, and bass, perch, and carp. Notice the types of aquatic plants and their distribution in the picture. In this picture, the painted turtle, green frog, pond snail, and muskrat are found in the littoral zone. This area is shaded by plants along the shore. The limnetic zone is the open water area where sunlight is abundant. This is the main photosynthetic zone where phytoplankton and zooplankton are abundant. Here we see the plankton, blue-winged teal, northern pike, and the yellow perch in the limnetic zone. The profundal zone is a layer of deep open water where it is too dark for photosynthesis to occur. The oxygen levels are low, so fish adapted for cooler, darker water are found here, such as lake trout. Notice the location of the profundal zone. Some other organisms found here are leeches, worms, and insect larvae. The bottom darker layer is called the benthic zone, where decomposers, detritivores, and some fish, such as catfish, are found. In this picture, the bloodworms are in the benthic zone. There are three classifications of lakes based on nutrient content and primary productivity, including oligotrophic, eutrophic, and mesotrophic lakes. Oligotrophic lakes are deep and clear with steep banks. They are low in nutrients and therefore have low net primary productivity. Mountain lakes tend to be oligotrophic. Eutrophic lakes are the opposite. They're shallow and murky and have a large supply of nutrients and a high net primary productivity. The classification between these two extremes is called mesotrophic. Look closely at this picture. It shows how an oligotrophic lake can be transformed over time into a eutrophic lake. Notice the depth of the oligotrophic lake in comparison to the eutrophic lake. Sediment flow into the oligotrophic lake over time builds up on the bottom, decreasing its depth. Also notice the comparison of natural eutrophication and cultural eutrophication. The natural process occurs over extremely long periods of time, but the cultural process is sped up by man-made contributions and may occur in decades instead of centuries. Eutrophication is the situation in which a body of water becomes rich in nutrients. This leads to algal blooms, decreases in dissolved oxygen content, and ultimately fish deaths. This diagram compares oligotrophic and eutrophic lakes. Again, notice the depth and clarity differences. Notice light penetrates deeper in the oligotrophic lake. Notice the phosphorus and nitrogen concentrations are higher in the eutrophic lake. This may be due to fertilizer runoff from nearby agricultural or urban areas. We've just discussed standing water bodies, the ponds and lakes. So now we will discuss flowing water bodies, such as rivers and streams. Streams begin at higher altitudes where rainfall and snow collects. The zones in the downhill flow of water are the source zone, transition zone, and floodplain zone. Notice the elevation differences. The source zone originates in mountains, and the elevation decreases as the stream moves to the floodplain, which is relatively flat. The source zone is narrow, shallow, and the water is cold, clear, and flowing swiftly. The movement of the water allows large amounts of oxygen to dissolve, but since the water is low in nutrients, productivity is low. This is a picture of the narrow headwaters or source of a river originating in the mountains. The transition zone is wider and deeper. The water is warmer and flows more slowly. The water is murky and contains less dissolved oxygen. In the diagram, locate the source and the transition zone. The floodplain is wider and deeper than the transition zone. The stream flows across broad, flat areas. The water is warmer and murkier and contains less dissolved oxygen. Notice the curving path of the stream in the floodplains. The river delta is the mouth of the river where it empties into the ocean. The river delta is built up by deposited sediments carried in the river. This picture shows the Nile River and its river delta. This is a diagram of the Mississippi River floodplain and drainage basin. It covers most of the central United States. Wetlands are areas of land that are covered with fresh water for at least part of the year. Marshes are characterized by grasses, and swamps are characterized by trees. Wetlands have several environmental functions. They trap and filter sediments, nutrients, and pollutants. They reduce flooding. They buffer the shorelines against erosion. They provide spawning grounds and habitats for wildlife, as well as recreational areas for humans. Humans impact freshwater ecosystems in several ways. Dams and canals change direction of water flow. Levees and dikes used for flood control also change the water flow. Runoff from cities and farms put excess nutrients and pollutants into these water bodies. And many freshwater ecosystems may be drained and filled with soil in order to farm the land or to put buildings on the land.